Folding helmets. More common than you think, and actually they've been around for a while. The idea is it's more compact than a normal helmet, and so it's more portable. So let's say you rent city bikes or something like that, and you want to keep a helmet in your bag, you don't have to carry around a full-size helmet with you. But are they safe and are they comfortable? This one's called the Closca helmet loop, and it looks like a folding dog dish. It's one of the lightest helmets I've ever picked up in my life, and as you can see, you just kind of push it up like this. It's not the least comfortable helmet I've ever put on, but it's pretty bad. Now, as it turns out, this was actually tested by Virginia Tech's Helmet Lab. They give independent ratings to a variety of helmets, and this one got an 18.68. That's a star score. The lower the score, the better it is. The best helmet score, closer to about 10. 18's really not that bad, though. This would be considered safe, especially for what it is. Now, the Closca is $70, making it kind of a mid-priced helmet, and so I don't know, I'm actually kind of impressed that it tested as well as it did. Very lightweight, it certainly is compact. You could slide it into a backpack, and then apparently it's safe. The only thing I would worry about is you slide this thing into a backpack, and now you throw the backpack around. The helmet is taking impacts, and so it's gonna depend on your particular use case. I guess you take your phone and scan it, but I don't have my phone. Let's take a look at the next one, the Fend 1. Let's see how it fits. Okay. Oh, that's extremely uncomfortable. Yeah, I'd have to give it to the Closca on comfort. Now, the Fend 1 folds up much differently. As you can see here, you pop these two pieces out, and then when you want to fold it back up, you have to push these little releases up, and the helmet kind of collapses. To be honest, I don't know if this actually takes up less space than the Closca. It seems to take up about the same. It's just in a different form factor. I don't know if this would be that much easier to store than a normal helmet that doesn't fold. See, when I'm traveling with helmets and I want to put one inside of a bag, I tend to take something like a jacket, stuff it inside the helmet, and so the space ends up not getting really wasted for anything, and then you can use the rest of the garment to wrap it around it and kind of protect the helmet. I don't know that if I did that with something like this, it would actually end up being a smaller area. It's kind of marginal. The Fend 1 was tested by Virginia Tech, and it got pretty much exactly the same score as the Closca, actually marginally worse. And it's more expensive, and I don't know. I don't think this form factor is better. I think this makes sense to slide into a backpack a lot more than this because it kind of has the same profile of a normal helmet. We have one more. This is the Overade plixi. It is definitely the heaviest helmet, and it's the most expensive at $130. It also seems to be the most compact. I mean, the way this thing packs up is truly amazing. The problem is, I don't know if it's safe. Virginia Tech did not rate this helmet, and so, I don't know, the verdict's kind of out. But it seems like a quality product. You unfold it like this, and it looks like a folding helmet when it's unfolded. It looks like those collapsible bins with the little hinges on the side. Let's see if it's comfortable. This is not that bad. Besides the fact that this doesn't have a star score, it seems like the best quality of any of these. I mean, it's a little bit heavier. The materials seem a little bit nicer. It's comfortable. It's the most compact. I just wish I knew if it was safe. But anyway, folding helmets. Who knew? This next product over here, I'm gonna tell you right now, it is absolute trash, complete garbage. It is a $30 mudguard made from recycled bottles. It's made by a company called Trash Gear. Now, I, for one, was fairly certain that plastic bottle recycling involved lighting all the bottles on fire so the plant employees could warm their hands, but apparently they make some of them into mudguards. This one is for your fork, and this one is a fanny fender that goes behind your seat, probably a little better for gravel. So we're established these are made from trash, but are they any good? Yes, they're actually really, really good. This is the best fitting fender I have ever tried in my entire life. I'd say the one downside is that it's a little bit heavier than a normal fender, but I mean, not that much. It is extremely sturdy, and then this little slot, this channel over here, makes it so it fits on the fork so well. So you can see, you put it underneath the bridge here, and when you push it up, This little slot lets it really sit in there securely, and you can get it so close to the tire without it moving around and rubbing. It is really, really well designed. Now, considering that recycled plastic bottles are normally more expensive than brand new plastic, $30 is pretty good for this. It's about double what a normal fender is, but it's a lot better designed and it's a lot sturdier. I also love the colors. This black one with the gray swirls, I'm gonna put on my cross-country bike. I honestly don't think we're like saving the environment by making fenders out of plastic bottles, but it is nice that somebody's putting this stuff to use. You spend $5,000 or $6,000 on a carbon mountain bike that's gonna end up in a landfill someday with all manner of plastics and resins, and then you put a nice recycled fender on it and it makes you feel good. To each his own, but this is made in the USA in Vermont with 100% recycled plastic, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty unique, and I like the company name Trash Gear. Good job, good fender. This has nothing to do with bicycles, but it's got a lot in common with our next product, a smart taillight. Yeah, a bicycle taillight should turn on, maybe it should blink. The Level Light 180 promises to do more, but before we throw it under the bus, let's take a look at what they're promising here. So the first thing they're mentioning is a gyroscope, which indicates when the light is level. Okay, so it's on the bike. How do I see whether it's level? Okay, so I guess it turns green when it's perfectly level. Yeah, there we go. And if it goes unlevel, it changes back to blue. Now look, your taillight should be level, but there's a much easier way to get it level. You can look at it. It's not like we're talking about a highly calibrated piece of scientific equipment, a seismometer. This is a taillight. Eyeballing it is just fine. Let's see what other smart features it has. Group mode, accelerometer-enabled brake mode for group riding. That sounds like it might actually be useful. So the idea here is if you've ever been on a group ride at night and you're following people really closely, when somebody starts to slow down, you could crash into them and then you go down because your front wheel gets knocked out of the way. This is gonna warn them of that. I guess that's kind of a cool feature. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it's supposed to do this pulsing thing, and then when I start braking, it's supposed to go solid. So I'm gonna go down the driveway, and then towards the end, I'm gonna put on my brakes. Did it work? Probably had it in the wrong mode. So they said group ride mode is intermittent pulsing mode. That seems to be like what this is right here. No, that looks like intermittent pulsing mode. Let's try this. I don't have my riding shoes on. Okay, that feature does work, and it seems like a good feature, although if you've ever been on a group ride, sometimes you're with a bunch of people you don't know, and they might not know how your taillight is supposed to behave, and so they might not associate that behavior with stopping. Two other little features, motion sensor. The level light will enter sleep mode after 5 minutes of inaction and automatically activate on any vibrations. Let's see if that works. All right, that works, and then you move the bike. Turns back on. That's a good feature. And lastly, there is low power mode. When the thing gets down to 10% remaining battery, it goes into an eco mode that saves battery and gets you a little bit more life. I think that's a good feature too. Look, this is a $65 tail light. It is really nice, but the instruction manual has grammatical errors, which doesn't really make me feel good about their thoroughness. The leveling feature is kind of more trouble than it's worth using. The group ride mode, I don't really know how many people are gonna understand. It does have a few cool features. They had the decency to make a charge with USB-C. That's always nice. I do like the fact that it saves battery when you turn it off, and it has that eco mode when it starts running low on batteries. So some good features, some bad, kind of a premium price. I don't know if it's for me. It's not for, hold on. This is the Essential 8 multi-tool from Daysaver. It costs $50 and it claims to be the lightest and smallest multi-tool in existence. Let's start with that claim. Is this really smaller than this? Depends on how you look at it. It's actually taller, longer, probably takes up a lot less area than this multi-tool, but yeah, to each his own. If you're putting it in your third pocket, I don't really think it's gonna make that big of a difference, but they did claim it's the lightest. Let's see what this weighs. Okay, that's 94 grams, and this is 32 grams. This is a lot lighter, and for some people that's gonna matter, especially if you're bringing a lot of little tiny things around with you, it can add up. So it's lightweight, we know that, but how does it have 8 tools? It looks like it has 2 tools, this one and this one. Here you can see there's a T25. Check it out. You can pop it out and turn it around, and now we have another tool. You can take it out completely, and we have another tool. Take that out, and we have a big old 6mm. And then on the other side, it does the same thing. So we can pop this out, and we can turn it around, and you get a smaller hex. You can pull this out. We have a hex. And that is how the tool has 8 tools in it. So now I'm starting to see why this is 50 bucks. There are a lot of proprietary parts here. They all have little magnets holding them in. It's actually not the simplest thing to make, but this is $50. Is this something you're gonna wanna carry around as opposed to this, which actually has 10 tools? Well, this has 2 major advantages. The first one is the weight, as I said before, and also ergonomics. This is going to be the easiest, most enjoyable tool to use possible. It's just like the tools in my workshop, actually. In the last products video, I showed you this little tool kit with these little hex wrenches. This is basically exactly the same thing. You're getting just a perfect dedicated hex wrench. Another disadvantage I could see though is there's a lot of things to lose. If you want to use, let's say the 4mm, you got to remove this, and now yeah, you got bits laying all over the trail or on your bike packing route. That's not ideal, but this is very premium and very nice. Now, I do feel like one part of it is kind of insulting. You pay $50 for this tool, and then they have a whole bunch of accessories that you can get for it, like a holder to mount it to your bike, and that costs even more money. I feel like for that little piece of plastic, they should have just included it with it. It would make people feel a lot better. I think they would sell a lot more of them. But what do I know? I'd probably be terrible at making money if I were building these products. I would give too much away. I mean, if you add on things like the chain tool and everything, you can make this cost $100, and you can make it no smaller or lighter than any other multi-tool. All right, I know my thoughts on this tool are kind of meandering, but I think this is going on one of my bikes. Honestly, one of the things I love the most is when I can access a multi-tool really quickly. This thing just nests under your water bottle. You can pull it right out, and then you have a dedicated wrench, like the easiest tool to use ever. Yeah, I don't know. This might be for someone. This is pretty cool. Next product is the Rider Innovation in-bar groove tool. There are lots of multi-tools that fit inside your handlebars, but this one seems to be complete. It has everything, and as you know, I love multi-tools that are like that. For example, this Lesign tool has everything in it. It has chain repair, it has the actual chain links, it has tire plugs, and it even has a little CO2 inflator. Let's see if this is as complete as this. It comes with a slug plug built in. This is for tubeless tire flats. This appears to be where all the bits go. And we've got a chain tool. Let's stick this all in a set of handlebars and see how it fits. Okay, so you should be able to just remove the bar ends from most sets of grips and stick this in. We got one on the other side here, and it's in. And then if you want to use either tool, you just pull it out of your handlebar just like that. Pretty cool. What does it have? So first of all, emergency tubeless tire repair. There's sealant squirting out, you sprung a leak, you pop this out of your handlebar, you pull off the end, and boom, you have a plug ready to go that you can plug your tire with. And if you need another one, there's actually one on the other side here, also loaded up with a plug. And so you have 2 of them rapid fire ready to go. That's pretty quick and easy. I'm a fan of this, but the multi-tool is where things get a little bit less intuitive. Here, we're gonna pop it out, and you can see there's a series of loose bits that are held in with magnets. You also have some chain links, which is nice, and you have a chain tool, which you can pop out by pushing one of the bits in here. There it is. Smallest chain tool ever. Chain tool fits right in the end there, and you have kind of a handle. Now, how do you actually turn these bits? Well, the other side of it, this guy over here, has a little bit holder right over here. And so you stick your bit in there, and now you actually have a ton of leverage. Not bad. They even give you some options here. These Torx bits and a T25 over here, so you can take the flathead or the Phillips or whatever and replace it, customize the tool how you want. I kind of like that. What I don't like are all of these loose bits. When you're out on the trail repairing things, loose bits tend to get lost, but as we've seen in a lot of multi-tools, they do provide some benefits. They allow for a more flexible tool that can fit in a lot more places, which this is. Now, despite this kit being pretty complete, you have flat repair, you have chain repair, you have your chain links, you have your wrenches. It doesn't have an inflator, and so you would have to carry an inflator and you would have to carry some CO2 if you wanted this to be complete, whereas this Lesign tool that I was showing you before, all you need to do is carry around a little CO2 canister and it's complete. But I still think this is pretty good if I knew anywhere I could buy it. I looked all over the place online and I can't find any place that it's sold. I can't even find the price, but it's pretty cool. And so if this is at a fair price and you can find it, I'd say it's one of the better handlebar tools that I've reviewed. This is a product we reviewed before a little over a year ago. It's called the Mendit Kit MTB Kicker. It is a little first aid kit that you can attach to your bottle cage. And I really liked it, but I had some criticisms about it. For one, it's really, really easy to break off. And yes, it's made to crack off so that you can access it quickly, but you could hit a bump or sort of rub your leg against it and it could crack off accidentally. They addressed it in the second version along with a whole bunch of other things. I love when companies take feedback from videos and actually put it back into their products instead of doubling down. So let's take a look at the version 2 of the MTB Kicker Mendit Kit. So first of all, like the original Mendit Kit, you can mount this to your bottle cage and it'll stick off the side of the bike. They made it flexible. So when you hit bumps, it's just gonna flex around and it is not gonna crack off the bike. You have to do something very deliberate. Let me show you something about the original one so you can see what they were doing here. So you crack it off the bike and then you have this little pack with first aid supplies in it, but the pack itself is actually one of the supplies. See, this guy right here, which was attached to the bike, is actually a splint for a finger or something like that, and then you can use the straps that were securing it to the bike to actually secure it down. But most of the time you don't need the splint, you're just looking for a band-aid or something like that. So in the new version, you can undo the straps and you can access the Mendit kit without taking the splint off, and then you can put it back on. So it's less of a disposable thing and more of a reusable thing. And then if you need the splint, you can do what I did just before and crack it off. The splint looks a little different than it did last time. So now all the straps are kind of built into the splint and it's actually a lot more flexible and very nice. These are all 3D printed, very well designed and very good choice of materials. Yeah, a lot more intuitive and easy to use than the first one, and you don't have to break it off just to access the kit. And these are 20 bucks a pop. I would say for something so unique that offers a lot of utility, 20 bucks is really fair. They're not robbing you with this thing, and it provides more functionality than the original Mendit kit. And so I think that's a good job. Kudos for making a change to it instead of doubling down. That's what good companies do, and I appreciate this. So those were some pretty interesting products today. We do this all the time on this channel, and there's a playlist below if you want to see more. I hope you learned something today, and if you didn't, I hope you were at least entertained. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.